Welcome to the Upshift podcast, where changemakers meet and commune and find out how each other is doing their part in changing the world. Today's guest, we welcome Kate McKay, a keynote speaker, best-selling author, and an athlete whose upcoming book, Grief and Grace, The Sacred Work of Living After Loss, explores how love and faith can help us rebuild after life's deepest heartbreaks. Known as the 80-pound Tony Robbins, wait till you meet her, Kate is a champion IFBB pro bikini competitor and entrepreneur dedicated to personal growth and purpose-driven work. She reminds us that grace meets us in the middle of our mess, inviting us to open our hearts, serve with others well, and through the beauty that comes from hardship, we welcome Kate to our show. We're so glad you're here. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here and sharing the magic with you here for your listeners and viewers and mine.
Yes. Okay. I got to tell the listeners how we met. I love networking. I've done this all my life, but this was the coolest. So I was a guest on a podcast. And when I got off the show, the guy, he said, you are so strong and powerful. You have to meet this other woman that is so powerful and strong. You guys are just going to hit it off. Total stranger. And I'm like, well, just hook us up, So he put us together on this email. Kate and I get on a phone call and we've met a kindred spirit. It was the wildest thing, Kate. Thank you so much for being in this world. And I want to thank you this too. And that is for being so authentic that when I met you, our souls actually recognize each other. It's a real testament to taking the facade off and being in our bodies and authentic when we meet one another. Thanks, Kate. I just had to say that.
Oh, thank you so much. I think it's also too because what Dom said is so accurate, right? It's the strong, powerful woman that attracts a lot and has had a lot of success. And yet at the same time, Lone Ranger had Tonto. And I'm loving that this time right now, I am being partnered up with other women who are incredible in their own right, but also want to share space and grow and know that we can 10x our impact together, to be honest.
Right. But you got to catch our audience up. Okay. You've got to give us a little snippets of how and where you came from and what you do now and at this amazing stage work, bodybuilding, and your age, if you don't mind, because I think it's inspiring. So please tell us where you are now. I know we're going to get into your book, but man, you're so impressive.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I'm just the classic ADHD freak, basically, is how I see myself, just stumbling my way through life with massive failures and hardship and some extraordinary successes. And all it just brings me to this present moment of who can I affect today? Who can I be present for today? Because that's all that I measure my success on. What I did yesterday, the list of successes I've done is really has no measure to me aside from looking back and going, whoa, I survived that. It's really about who am I here to serve? Like right now, I am 100% here with you to serve this audience, to pour my heart into this audience and bring value to you by telling stories, sure, but also providing you some strategies to how you can overcome challenges. And yeah, especially that, because that's where I am right now in my life. And I really just want to say that the book that I'm writing, Grief and Grace, was basically the book I didn't want to write. Like, damn it. I didn't want to write this book. I don't want to be the one that is the grief messenger. But I realized that even though I'm a powerful energy, I'm a positive energy, I'm here to bring light to dark places. And Grief and Grace is from that. I was writing a book called Age Out Loud, which is what everyone want to know. Like, how can you be 62 and still be
Yeah.
competing? Yeah. And still be competing in bikini competitions and being vibrant and energetic and all those things that usually kind of decrease when we get older, but ultimately that journey has been based on my desire to grow besides and especially because of the circumstances to which I've lived and grown through.
You are so inspiring, and it seems very genuine. You know, your upness, your 80-pound Tony Rod. You really only weigh 80 pounds?
No,
There's no way.
no, I don't.
Especially if you're bodybuilding, right? But
Yeah, no,
the
I'm
Tony
like
Robbins aspect.
I'm littler than I sound, though. People always meet me and they're like, "God, you're so little." I'm like, "Yeah, I think of myself as a medium large."
But what a big packing of personality.
Yeah, I'm
You're
small.
so packing a personality there. Why so why I'm just sitting here listening to you, and what keeps you going? Honest to goodness, what keeps you going? I mean, and how can you be this up?
Yeah, and I'm not always that way, right? Because you and I are different, and I love that I already know something about you, and I never will forget our first conversation, which was so delicious. But and it was so deep, like right off the bat. But you're a woo. Like you're here to make connections with everyone, and I'm your opposite. I'm like introverted, want to read, got piles of books everywhere. I'm like, okay, I guess today I have to be social, right? So I'm going against the grain every day about what ultimately I really want to do is just to hibernate. Just hang out,
Yeah.
read. I'd be happy being a little hermit on the hill. But God didn't put me here to play small. And so every single day I'm fighting against that instinct to retreat. And oftentimes the light comes from other people around me that if I was to succumb to that who would I be? Like God put me here with an extraordinary amount of energy that some people love and some people don't really like me. And I'm always still confused. I still stumble through my life going, what did I do? I still feel like that 12-year-old that was too much. And what I want the
Mm,
viewers and listeners to really hear, like really hear this, is that when you were growing up, we heard something that we were two of. Hey, I don't know what that is for you. Too loud, too smart, too quiet, too pretty, too fat, too skinny. Whatever that is, whatever that two is, it's your secret superpower. The
right.
reason why you are here is that too much that got snuffed out because people were threatened by it. People didn't like it because it made them uncomfortable. I was too
Yes.
enthusiastic, too enthusiastic.
Mhm.
And you know what enthusiasm means? It means in God. I'm too enthusiastic. I'm too much in the spirit. I'm like, whoa, right? And I grew up in a really big family. I'm one of 9 kids, and it's chaos. It was absolute chaos. So my goal was to cheer up my mom and be the light for my mom because clearly she was depressed with all those children and, getting $5 on that, maybe $2 on the dresser in the morning to buy milk, right? And no car and all that good stuff. So my job was to just make my mother laugh and bring the joy. And I was honored for that role. I felt honored to be that player.
So I do need to catch everybody up on the what you called me woo. She's talking about Clifton Strengths, and she and I have that in common as a tool for personalities. And it's I think she and I both agree it's one of the best tools out there on how to find out what your strengths are, not what you lack. And businesses use them and leaders use them with their employees because then they can manage to the strengths and not try to make somebody who's not good at something be better at it because then you're just frustrated.
Exactly.
These things she called me woo is a personality trait, one of my top 5 that means winning others over,
Yes.
which is yes, I love being people, but I too need my time alone to recharge. So I
Sure.
wanted to go back and
Yeah, that's a really important, yes, exactly. And I think in our society in particular, is that we're so much focused on where we're broken and where we're messed up. And, the self help industry has sort of, kind of cornered that market on how to fix what's broken. But to me, where we're broken is where we are brilliant. And that needs to be a shift in our self help market that you're never going to be ready to serve people. You're never going to find the right time to be in a relationship. You're never going, your inner child is always just going to be a little messy and move forward anyway because people need what you got. People need
yeah.
what you uniquely were given.
It's from that place of brokenness. Shared this, a friend of mine calls it, your cross to bear is your gift to share. And I
Beautiful.
love that because it puts it right into a sentence. So, along those lines, talking about a cross to bear, your book is about grief and grace. How did you come to write about that?
Because I realized in the last few months in particular, as I've moved through the anniversary once again of the loss of my son in 2017, mm, I lost a son to suicide, and he was so beautiful. He was elegant, he was a bright light, he was kind, he was deeply spiritual, and yet he chose to, as his friends describe, ascend on his own accord. You know, he chose to take his own life in the woods up in New Hampshire. And he was the spiritual rock of my family. He was gritty, he was beautiful. He never asked me for anything. And he was gorgeous. Play Chopin, you would weep. An incredible gymnast and courageous. Yeah. So how could it be that I would lose him and everyone was so confused that it just was confusing as hell. And unfortunately, the reason why I'm talking about grief and the mess of grief is because this was compounded by the fact that in 1987, my brother Matthew, who's only 18 months younger than me, wild, gorgeous, was murdered. Same age. So my son and my brother were 22. Me and my mom were both 54. So in many ways, I view my son Will as the sacrificial lamb to heal what my mother was never capable of healing. And, it's bizarre that how it blew up everything. It blew up my family of origin. It blew up, it just like grief bomb, right? Everything kind of blows up. But again, I'm a practical griever. I handled the details. I did the eulogy. It's like I had no choice but to be that strong and to still be that light and that power. And then I realized I heard something very interesting. And that was this, that when we lose a sibling, and I promise you, Angel, this is what I said every single time when people would say, "Wow, I'm so sorry about losing your brother." I'm like, "Yeah, but my poor parent," hundreds of times. And I never realized that until I heard it. And this is part of the healing about why the book is so significant. Is because I was able to say to both of my other two children, "You know what? I heard something. And do you know what I used to say after my brother Matt died?" And I would say, "Yeah, but my poor parents." And both of them, their eyes got huge. And they both, and I was like, "You lost your brother." I said, "My grief is handled. I have it, but you lost your brother." And they were like, "Wow, thank you." Like they were so it's like if you dig deep into yourself and figure out those places, you set yourself free and you set other people free to live in the grace of the mess. But we have to go through the mess. And again, I don't want to be the one talking about grief. I don't want to talk about suicide. But here I am, bringing the light of God, bringing my son's light to the world. Because I'm telling you, I wasn't always so easy. I wasn't always so like light and kind and chill. Those qualities I decided to adopt from my son Will. Because as one of my coaches said to me, when we lose somebody, they don't need those qualities anymore in the physical realm. So we're free to adopt them. So, any of you
Huh.
viewers or listeners, what are those qualities of someone you love so much and lost that still reckon you that they're gone? Even if it's a pet, what qualities? Give me three. And now
Wow.
own them. They're yours. How lucky are we that we get to share that light with others? I believe I wear Will's qualities like a shroud. It's very holy for me to be able to walk through the light with him. So that's that.
Wow. So much there.
I know,
So
sorry.
rich. So no, so rich. First of all, for any parent to lose a child, I just think that that's probably one of the worst. It's because, you're supposed to outlive your children. And I have in my own family, my brother died. Gosh, my mom was stoic, so stoic. But, in some way, and he was the one I was closest to.
Mm, I'm sorry.
And I don't, well, yeah, but here's the thing. We almost were prepared for the day to come because he was an alcoholic.
Mhm.
And he was the fun loving, oh my God, greatest guy. And it wasn't like he was an alcoholic that was unsuccessful. He was one of the most successful orthodontists in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
I feel like, his sadness took him out, a deep sadness. I think he felt like he could be 19 forever. And but we were very close. He was the only sibling that understood me. The rest of them
Wow.
could care less.
Think about what you
Yeah.
lost. That's a big deal.
Yes. And I lost an advocate with my
You
siblings.
sure did. A fan.
And that really played out later when my mom was, leaving us, leaving the earth, and I needed an advocate with her. But going back to the upside
Yeah.
of somebody stepping over, however they got there, that taking on their qualities, because my mom, when she passed, oh my God, the 3 bullet points, she had so much grace,
Mm.
had so much gentleness a in a woman who was German, who could literally, she quit smoking in a day. She quit drinking in a day. Like, nope, not anymore. Boom. Very German, very regimented. And I grew up with that. But it was what you could say is a Mack truck on the outside and a marshmallow on the inside.
What was the 3rd quality then? Grace, gentle, and what's the other quality?
Well, the discipline.
Disciplined. Beautiful.
It was my mom being on the other side, honestly, that helped me stop drinking. And
Mm.
I told her, I said, I need your discipline, mom, to literally take the desire away. It's not that I want to stop drinking. I've done that. It's not, but I wanted to just leave my life. So I need the desire to go away. And I need
Wow.
your discipline, mom, from the other side, because it was the year she died. I quit. And I said, but I need you there if I feel like for some reason a trigger that I want to, or what the hell. And, you go through those when you're leaving big things in your life. And she was there. She was there. What a great thank you, because I'm on the verge of tears and also gratefulness at the same time
Right.
with
That's
thinking
grace.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
That's
grace, isn't
beautiful,
it?
Kate.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so powerful. Well, thank you for sharing your mom, you know? I mean, because the thing is that's so beautiful about this conversation is that when you meet each other in life, if you do the work and are able to release people, because I truly believe that my highest honor in this life thus far is birthing an angelic soul in a way, had aura, freaky aura. But then on the other end of it, I was able to release him to God. So I can't quite imagine a higher thing. So every sort of day, I'm kind of like, okay, what's the meaning today? I did. That's true. I'm not going to lie to you. It's true. It's like, what's the meaning today now? Okay, yeah, I got to remember there's meaning. But yes, and when you meet people, you're meeting Will. I'm meeting your brother, who was your biggest cheerleader, and I would love to step into that role too, because I think that's what you and I both need, because we both lost the bro, the one that was, it was the love, there was someone who really loved us. And then obviously that's a wonderful thing in the evolution of our life and our soul and our service, is that we bring all the mess and the good with us. And then we can leave free, because ultimately that's the goal for me. I'm not afraid to have conversations with really it just doesn't frighten me, I'm just not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of like really intense things, because I know it's not my job to carry it. It's my job to be a witness so that people can
Hmm.
release it, but it's not mine to carry, and that's so freeing.
Right. So that's a big topic, because I have the belief that your contract with God is, I don't know what it is, right? even babies that are born that die, right? Horrible, horrible pain and grief, but not a grief that you can choose to let it go because their contract with God was complete. They needed to
Yes.
take a breath and die. And sometimes people look at me and go, gosh, that's harsh. And like, no, it's not harsh.
No, it's
It's
not.
freeing.
It is freeing.
And
Amen.
it also gets the responsibility
Right.
of that other person's life and decisions and off of me. It's not mine. Right?
And this is a rare thing, but we're coming into this more so now. And I think that part of the problem, again, as I'm addressing this again, is the self help circus, really, of you are responsible for everything and you're the burden of your mother and your father and your sister and your brother and you carry it. Well, you can choose to. And I'm not saying that there isn't suffering and there is, but you do, as you said, you have to take personal responsibility. My son made a choice. There are a lot of people around me, even in my own family, that feel as though I'm too casual about his death and that I bared some responsibility in some way. Maybe they're not saying out loud, but that's just the way it is, that people actually feel that way. And oftentimes other women will find it disturbing that I'm still doing my life when I lost a child. Like I'm supposed to be broken in a heap. Well, I saw how that went for my mom. And let me just say something. It's not pretty and it did nothing, no service for her mothering for any part of her life to dry up and just drink and be bitter. Bitterness rots your soul. And I choose not that.
Speaking of that, okay, so there's death, but there's also deep disappointment that people can be in your life.
Oh,
Mine was my ex-husband.
mm,
And I had a lot of, I could have lived in livid anger about a lot of things about that marriage, then divorce, and then how the family treated me, all that stuff when I needed support from these people, because I'm raising these boys by myself that I didn't only not get, but didn't even get support on any level. Okay. So I could live in anger. I could live in disappointment. I could live in
resentment.
bitchiness and bitterness, right? I could. It's a choice.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you, and I'm really telling you, but I'm telling these people that are listening, if you have bitterness in your heart, if you can think of any person in your life, I don't care who it is, and all of a sudden bile raises into your throat or a fire goes into your stomach or your belly, your chest, and you want to kill them, you want to bite nails. This is your problem, not theirs.
Right.
And I chose peace. And
So
the
good.
only way, because I needed to live in peace, I couldn't operate
No.
in this horrible anger or disappointment or, I wish things were different. You can wish all you want. So choosing peace, though, you can choose peace, but what do you do to get to peace? And
Mm,
it's more than just forgiveness. Okay.
yes.
I'm preaching now. All right.
Yeah.
So watch
Yeah.
out.
Go for it.
I'm, I'm preaching now. I'm on the soapbox. But peace is more than forgiveness because the religious world and a lot of my friends are reverends and they're like preaching forgiveness. Well, forgiveness, okay, this is one that's tough, but forgiveness can be a little bit egotistical because if I have the right to forgive you, Kate, then that means what you did was wrong and how I feel is right, but I forgive you. Okay? Maybe that's step one. But step two is compassion. And
Mhm.
I believe compassion trumps forgiveness
Mm.
because
Beautiful.
you can forgive. I forgive you, whoever you are, because what you did was something you chose to do. It had nothing to do with me. That's you and that's your pain and you took your pain out on me. Okay. It's not okay, but I get it. That's forgiveness.
Mm.
Compassion is I feel compassion for you because it must be so horrific inside your head and your heart that you could actually treat somebody like you did.
And they aren't even conscious of it. That's the part that's so intense. That,
Well, they're not,
there's
most of them aren't conscious of
yeah,
it.
most
And
of them aren't. I mean, studies actually show that you could ask 90% of the people if they know what wrong they did, and they'll say no. So here you are thinking they consciously made a choice to screw you, and they're not even conscious that they did it. That's a
well,
powerful release. because
Yeah,
they may know, but they'll label you as a bitch or, they'll
yeah.
label you and so that they can free themselves of that relationship. But they're not going to process it. They've closed the door on it, right? So I think that it's compassion, yes, and making a choice to choose actively. You have to actively choose peace. It's not a static state. It's not you're going to go up in the mountain and go, oh, money pot me, right? And then all of a sudden you're going to have this divine peace. It's not that way. But I think an important piece on this, very, very important, particularly when we're talking about grief and we're talking about being a strong person and handling it, whether it's compound grief, practical grieving, delayed grief, anticipatory, whatever kind of grief you're talking about. Usually the biggest challenge is not in forgiving others, but it's forgiving ourselves for choices that we had to make because that's all we knew how to make. And we were not conscious of how maybe we were blowing things up around us because all we were trying to do is survive because we created a world where we could not be safe, that we couldn't trust other people. Therefore, we couldn't trust ourselves. This is the real conversation about how we get
So
to
this is
healing.
but this is almost like, law of attraction, that you're creating unconsciously that which you need to face. That's tough, Kate. That's
Yeah,
really
and
tough to get somebody.
and I don't even necessarily think it's I'm talking it more of from that from the ways that you had to more from like a shamanic level, like your soul place. Like when I was 5th grade and all the way up to 5th grade, I got along fine because I had all male teachers and they would run me around. They knew Katie had trouble sitting still. But then I came into 5th grade and Mrs. Spencer didn't like me at all. And I remember how she didn't like me. And I remember the shame I felt in 5th grade. So I remember that where I was sitting and how I had to turn in and how she didn't defend me and I didn't feel safe, right? So that
Mhm.
part of me is still in that library in the books. So we have to go back to that version of Katie and say, "Hey, come on, girl. It's cool. Like, you're okay that you're that big. She just was kind of crabby or whatever it was, right? But I think that the relationships is really the relationship of that self. And the healing has to happen in the self relationship. And oftentimes that is a younger version of you that a part of you had to leave the building because you just weren't safe and you dismantled yourself to survive. That is my case absolutely 100%, despite all of my successes. And that has ramifications in all different parts of your life. It could be in your physical body, right? You know this, right? Your psychological body, your mental body. Are you intellectualizing grief? Is it spiritual bypass? That's what happened with my son. He was he was meditating and praying 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Did you think that I thought that that was maybe a problem? No, because I thought he was going to be a priest. He was going to be a monk. I'm like, that's what they do. Little did I know, right? So we separate from ourselves in all different kinds of way. My goal is to help people come home to themselves so that they can love that part of us. Because I think a lot of the things we're hearing about forgiveness in religious context is other people have screwed us. Okay. I think the bigger part of forgiveness actually is the quiet one of the self and bringing ourselves home to ourselves, the divine one, the united one, to be home in the light of God. That's a lot of work and it's beautiful and it's so worth it.
So how do you do that with people, for people, as this light?
Mm, I listen. And somehow, some way, I don't know if it's my training or if it's just the way I came into the world. And right now I feel like I'm going to start crying because I feel that I know what people are saying behind their words. I hear what they're yearning for. So I can sit in that space and people will tell me things and then I can kind of negotiate that experience so that they feel heard, so they can be free. My gift is to help people feel free. Like you saying to me, I don't even know why I invited you up to my house. It's not because you trusted me because I was present with you and you trusted me because you believe in your heart that you know I would never screw you because I never would. Like, it's just like, I'm just wanted to hear you. I wanted you to tell me everything about you because this is the magic. What else is more important? There's nothing more important for me than presence and being present for someone else, particularly in the depth of who they are. Maybe a lot for some people. To me, I love it. I love being present with people, and
Okay,
it's wonderful.
this is something I'm gonna take us here because I have a gift of somatic intuition also. You know, I can look at a body and I can tell you all this. I can tell you their whole life story. I don't like doing it. I don't walk down the street telling people's life story.
You have to look
So people,
straight.
you know, like you though, I also was born with this. I see only the good. I see the people's highest. So that's where I was like off the phone with you. I'm like, I can't believe I invited a stranger. I sent her a pin to my house and I've only just met her because I see the good in people. I see who they really are, their angelic self or their best side. But in the past, I've been burned because I didn't see their human, let's say, shadow side, which exists. And then they get to decide, you know, where they're going to be with me or not on each, you know, at any level in between. But it's a gift to see the angelic self. It's a gift to see somebody's highest self. So when I talk to them, though, and this is going to get to where you are about being with them in the moment, where they are in the moment is so important because I like to take them up to who they are. It's like, no, 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 no. I know where you are now, but I see where you can be.
I see where they were. The opposite for
Or
me is I
see what,
I see the little
yeah,
child. I hear the longing of the little child that wants to come home. I
yeah.
hear the longing to and so and that my work is done once they come home, right? And then I'll pass them off to you. I feel the longing that's holding them back, right? So it's a similar kind of work, and I believe, that's what all my year I owned a gym, and you see, and I'll be like, people come in and just a hand on their back calms them down, or you're able to just work them, and I'll be like, hey, what happened to that? You got an injury in that right shoulder? They're like, no, 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 no injury. I'm like, oh, okay. And then a month later, yeah, my mom, like one time, I remember my mom ripped me like out of the car, and I was like, and I was like, right, because the body keeps the score, right?
That's
And
right.
and grief is first and foremost a physical experience. It's a somatic
Oh,
experience. It's like,
wait, share
yeah,
that.
well,
That's
right.
interesting.
So when
Share that.
when a trauma happens, what happens to the body? It's a fight or flight, or fight, flight, flee, whatever they are, right? So there's different ways, and it's ingrained in the body response, and that's why.
Hmm.
Why do you think people disassociate? Alcohol, drugs, sex. Keep moving.
Right.
Me, it was just keep moving, Katie.
Yeah.
I don't want to see what's behind you because me with my, I got to keep moving, right? And then because
Right.
stillness was death to me, I was like, if I am still, I will die. I will get taken over by something,
Well, you
right?
will feel. See, I did
Yeah,
the same thing.
yeah. I
No
always
moss grows
felt.
on this rolling stone.
Yeah,
So
I
it's like
always
instead of
felt.
stopping and letting the stone sink,
Yeah,
it's like keep going, 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 and all this behind me will disappear.
yeah, right. And a lot of disappointment, like you said. I think that I was running from disappointment and betrayal,
Mm.
but ultimately the betrayal was of the self.
So this grief, it happens in the body. So in my world, fascia, which you know is the whole casing of our body, holds the stories. I mean, a lot of places hold the story. It starts at the fascia because you brace.
Mm,
When there's impact, an emotional impact, physical impact, whatever the impact is, you brace. You
mhm,
brace for impact. And
mhm.
then if that thought pattern, grief, becomes chronic, then the bracing happens all the time and you're tight. And this is where that person had held their mother's grabbing their shoulder, that story in that part of their shoulder. So, okay, so you meet people where they are. I love this because you can't heal. That's what I found. You cannot help somebody until you get down in the muck with them. You're like, I see you. I see you. I see this. It's okay to be this broken, this
Yeah.
chaotic. Start there, right?
It's not even
Let's
like that I really see their innocence. I see their innocence because their younger self is innocent. It just they had to leave that innocence behind. And through the shamanic work, sometimes I'll just say, "Hey, so that little one, what are they doing? Where are they?" They're in their bedroom and they're rocking. "Oh, wow. Well, can you go in and sit down next to them and talk to them?" They're like, "No, they're scared." "Really? Really? Do they wanna tell you anything?" Like, people will just tell me, go right to that place when I'm just like, and I never look at them in the eye. I'm on the phone, or I'm, especially when I work with men. It doesn't have to be this intense thing. It's a casual conversation. This is just a veil. This is just a veil, right? This life, this death experience is a veil. My job is to help free as many people as possible so that they can feel whole. They can feel free. I remember asking a really close friend of mine, "Babe, when's the last time you felt peace?" "Never."
That was her response.
That breaks my heart. And the friendship ended soon after that.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Because you got seen?
I think I was in a relationship with someone that, how could I possibly be supported by someone that didn't even know what I viewed as the most important value of living? That I was trying to make her figure out some way that she should feel peaceful when she never felt it. So it wasn't my job to bring her that. That was her work. And so I realized that that was a core value that was missing. How could she support me in my work if she didn't even understand what I meant? It was just a very interesting. I was like, Angel, she never felt peace. She had never in her entire life could remember a time when she felt peaceful. Can
Wow.
you
She's
imagine?
got some therapy ahead somehow, I guess.
And she's super educated, successful, like, all the things, but,
Education
it's pretty
and
wild.
money mean nothing.
I know that we went more into the grief and grace, and I'm super excited about that. But the other piece that I just want to celebrate in our conclusion is just to say that I believe that much of the work, similar like you, is through the body. That if we can keep the body moving, the chi moving, to stay strong in our body, that it really is the ticket to freedom. I started lifting weights at 21. I got under the weight and I was like, whoa, I like this. And let me just say, I was not, weightlifting for women when I did it. I was the only woman in all men's gym. Thank God I have 5 brothers, but it brought me back to myself. It was always a place in my sanctuary where I felt safe. And weight
Mhm.
training, being strong, building muscle mass, the thing I want all of you to know is that in your muscles, that's where the mitochondria is. Mitochondria is birthed and grown and fueled in the muscle. Heart is the highest level of mitochondria, but as you age, your muscle mass decreases quite exponentially. Give your body the gift of grace and being strong. Fuel your mitochondria. Your basal metabolic rate, the level of calories that you use just hanging out, doing nothing, the majority of those calories are used by what? The brain. The brain. Fuel your brain with the energy it needs. Keep your muscle mass. It will protect you. It'll protect your joints, your heart, your sex drive, your thoughts, your feelings, your everything. So stay strong, my friends. Really, it's super
Wow.
important.
That's a great way to bring this to a close. So, Kate, how can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, so Grace and Grief, our books are probably coming out at similar times, so we'll be supporting each other through that. Certainly, I have an Amazon page. All my books are there. My bestseller is called Claim Your Inner Badass. I also have a book for men called Claim Your Inner Warrior and Claim Your Inner Hottie. You can find me on all the socials. That Kate McKay is the name, and I'm here for you, and I believe in you. And I just want to say to all of you listening that you have magic within you. You have a unique gift, and we're so grateful that you're joining us here. And if anything resonated with you, please share it. Share it with people you love. Continue to grow and evolve to be who you came here to be. And thank you so very much. Angel, thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, and share this podcast. This was one I didn't know we were going to go there. And this was pretty intense. So, thank you, Kate, for being who you are and your vulnerability and your um, everything about you. Of course, I adore you. So, I don't know. Thank you so much for making this podcast what it is, powerful. And yes, listeners, share this podcast. It could help a lot of people. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Kate McKay. Oh my goodness, what a powerhouse. And what a emotional powerhouse she is. Thanks so much. And look for her book coming out soon, Grief and Grace. You can find her on all the Amazon and internet channels, Kate McKay. And thank you for listening, listeners. Today, I'm Angel Howard, your host on The Upshift. And share these podcasts when they reach you and when they touch your heart or your head or an aha. Share these podcasts and remember to like and subscribe. And also, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm Angel at angelhoward.co. And come on over to my website at angelhoward.co and join the email list. It is there that you will find book releases and all kinds of things in the future, and my tour, which will be happening in 2026. So I hope to see you there or maybe next year on the tour. Until then,